What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another movie review. Today we are continuing my DC movie rewatch all the way back with Superman 2 from 1981. Now on Letterboxd here, it says 1980, but if you look it up, it says 1981. But what I found interesting about this movie is that apparently there was some drama back in the day with this movie. Fully what it entails, I'm not sure, but I know that from the movie I watched, from the director that it said, and from what it says here on the Letterboxd app, it says Richard Lester is the director of the 1980 Superman 2, but it's 1981, and it says Richard Lester, and apparently there is a cut of this movie that is the Richard Donner cut. I don't know what that means, so comment below. Is there that big a difference from the Lester to the Donner cut, or is it just a few scenes? But are those few scenes, like, worth it? Like, because I personally liked the Richard Donner cut of Superman 1 quite a bit, you know, and I thought Richard Donner did quite a job here with Superman as a character. And I gave Superman 1 4 stars. Now, Superman 2, the Richard Lester cut that I watched 2 nights ago, I gave 3 out of 5 stars. You know, about a 6 out of 10. I will say maybe I'm going to have to watch the Richard Donner cut, where that's available. I'm not sure. But I will say Christopher Reeves is still great. Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor, I'm still into. You know, I'm glad to see them back. But these 3 bad dudes in Zod and the big animal man on the left and the girl on the right, I'm not in love with them. Really don't care too much about them, you know, and they're supposed to be like the big bads in the whole movie. I'm just invested in Superman having a date with Lois in his place in Antarctica or Arctica, wherever it is. But I will say his, what is it, the Inquisitorial? No, it's something like, it has a name, but Superman's lair here with like the crystals, I do love how they did it, but I love that he brought Lois, and Lois found out that Clark is Superman and called him out and figured it out. Like, I love that whole side of it. I love that she falls in love with him and that they end up kissing. I love that his ray vision looks cool in this, like, even for 1981. I really do love Christopher Reeve's suit, you know, like the red and blue. It's just classic. The yellow belt buckle, it's just so classic with the trunks. And if no one's acknowledging the fact that he's in underwear and they just talk to him, oh yeah, that's Superman, that's how he looks. It worked for me. But of course the bad guys get a hold of her and want Clark or Superman to be their henchman, but Clark kicks their ass. And Gene Hackman, of course, in the background there, it has to Lex Luthor it up. But there's 2 more movies for this. So, I've never seen this Superman 2. I've barely seen Superman 1. But Superman 1 I had definitely seen. I could feel, like, when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh yeah, this feels a bit familiar. But watching the second one, I was like, I don't remember any of this. So I definitely had never seen it. But maybe I'm going to have to watch the Richard Donner cut. So comment below, is it that big a difference? Is it worth the difference? Is it worth the watch, or is it pretty much the same? I would love to hear from people below if you have seen that. Richard Lester, though, Lester, his cut I didn't love, but I felt like there were parts of this movie in the Lester cut that were shot by Donner and parts that were shot by him. And, like, because there was a couple parts where he's flying, Christopher Reeves is flying, and it looks much more akin to how he looked flying in the first movie, which I thought didn't look all that bad. But then there were shots of him flying that looked so different. Like, the lighting looked different, he looked different, the angle looked different, everything looked different. And you're like, whoa. Like, it almost throws you off in the middle of the movie. You're like, that didn't look the same. What happened there? So it's almost like this movie might have been changed or flopped along the way because it had 2 different directors. Now, what happened to Richard Donner that he didn't fully direct this Superman 2? I don't know. Maybe there was a contract dispute, he got argued, or maybe he passed. I don't know. when the time frame is. It's 1980. I'm born in 99, so don't be mad at me for getting the details wrong here. I didn't necessarily research what happened 40-something years ago. It's not that big a deal. I'm just talking about the what I thought of the movie I watched, you know. But I would love to hear down below from some people that have actually been alive since 81, maybe? Those people that have watched this movie back when it came out, like, what's the deal with the Lester Donner cut? Love some information in the comment section below. If you don't want to comment below, you can email me at comicallyboston@gmail.com if you want to be more private about it, or you can message me on my other social medias. Links down in my description below. Check out my Letterboxd, also link in the description below. You can check out all my movie reviews I've done so far this year. I've really been having a good time doing all these movie reviews and creating a list and checking things off my list and watching something every day. I'm 28 for 28 currently when I'm filming this. For 28 days in a row, I've watched a movie a day. So I'm looking to continue my streak tonight, 29 for 29. But stay tuned for the next movie review coming out on the channel. We'll be talking about Aliens, which is Alien 2, director James Cameron, starring Sigourney Weaver again, and we'll talk about that one next because I actually had a great time watching that last night. Even though I'm not a big Aliens guy when it comes to these xenomorph motherfuckers, and I'm not a big horror movie guy, but hey, I'll tell you what, it gripped me to the edge of my seat. But we'll talk about that in the next video, so stay tuned, and I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Peace.